Hey there, and welcome. Take a deep breath with me for a moment. Inhale and exhale. You made it. You're here. This is your time to slow down, to let the day fade out, and to do something gentle for your mind. In this space, we're not rushing. We're not cramming grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary lists. We're just listening, calmly, slowly, and learning English in a way that feels natural and peaceful. So get comfortable. You can lie down, close your eyes if you want, or just let your mind drift as you listen. In this video, we're going to explore some of the world's most popular and best-selling books, stories and ideas that have inspired millions of people. I'll guide you through simple summaries, soft reflections, and meaningful takeaways that not only help you improve your English, but also fill your mind with beautiful thoughts. There's no need to focus too hard. Just let the words flow. Like background waves in your mind, you might even fall asleep, and that's perfectly fine, because even when you're resting, your brain is still learning. So let's begin. Let's unwind, learn something new, and slowly drift into that calm, cozy space where your language becomes effortless and stories come alive. The first book that we're going to be looking at is called Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Please forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that name correctly. First, we have a one-line summary of the book. A sweeping journey through human history. How imagination, cooperation, and stories made us who we are. So that is a one-line summary about the book. Here are some key takeaways. Number 1, the cognitive revolution. Around 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens began to imagine things that didn't exist. We created myths, stories, and shared beliefs. Invisible worlds that allowed thousands of strangers to work together. No other species could do this. This ability to imagine together became the secret to our success. 2. Shared myths rule the world. Nations, money, religion, and even human rights exist only because we collectively agree they do. They're powerful illusions, but they structure every part of modern life. 3. The agricultural revolution brought stability, but at a cost. Early humans traded a nomadic, free lifestyle for permanent settlements, repetitive work, and social hierarchies. We got more food, but less joy. 4. Empires and religions expanded through shared beliefs. Sometimes through persuasion, often through conquest. Yet every empire, every belief system rests on the same human superpower, collective imagination. 5. The modern world was built on the partnership between science and capitalism. Curiosity met profit, and together they reshaped the planet faster than ever before. 6. Despite all our progress, happiness hasn't increased. We have longer lives, better medicine, and endless entertainment. Yet we still feel restless and unsatisfied. Progress didn't solve the search for meaning. 7. Our future may not belong to us. We are creating technology and intelligence that might soon surpass our own, forcing us to redefine what it even means to be human. All right, now there is a reflective lesson. Let's read that. Everything you see around you, your money, your job, your country, is a story. And once you realize that, you begin to understand how powerful stories really are. They built civilizations, and they can rebuild them too. All right, we just finished the first summary of our first book called Sapiens. What did you think about that? I just want to let you know that this is an automatically generated summary of this book. This is not something that I am saying. This is not something that I am teaching. Some things I might say are debatable, but I'm just reading book summaries. That's it. I'm just reading key takeaway points from the book. And these points and summaries might interest you, and you might be curious and want to read this book. Or you might feel like you got a pretty good idea of it with just the summary, and you don't feel the need to read it. Me personally, I know I'm not going to read most of these books. There just simply isn't the time. There's so many. And we all have our list of priorities. And I am a bit picky about the types of books that I read. But I am interested in knowing the general key takeaways of the most popular, famous, best-selling books that came out in the past couple decades. And I personally am interested in the summaries and the takeaways so that I can get a general idea of what these books are about. How does that sound to you? All right. And either way, even if none of it interests you, at the very least, you are listening to my voice, you are relaxing, and you are practicing your English. So it's a win-win. All right. Book number 2. You might have heard of this one. It's famous. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. True transformation doesn't come from massive change. It comes from the smallest actions, repeated consistently. This is what I tell you guys about learning English. All right, the key takeaways are, number 1, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Small actions might seem meaningless at first, but over time, they stack up into massive results. 1% better every day becomes 37 times better in a year. You don't rise to the level of your goals. Sorry, this is number 2. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Goals give direction, but systems create results. Focus on building routines that make success inevitable. 3. Your environment shapes your behavior. We like to think willpower drives us, but it's actually design. If you want to eat better, keep healthy foods visible. If you want to read more, leave books within reach. 4. Identity-based habits last the longest. Don't just say, I want to work out. Say, I am the kind of person who doesn't miss a workout. Your behavior follows your identity. 5. Make good habits easy and bad ones hard. Reduce friction for what you want to do and increase it for what you want to stop doing. Change becomes automatic. 6. Awareness is the starting point. You can't change what you don't notice. When you start observing your routines, honestly without judgment, that's when transformation begins. All right. The reflective lesson is: every action casts a vote for who you want to become. The person you are today is built from the habits you chose yesterday. Now, this book is interesting because it's all stuff that seems obvious. It's so obvious. And it's not even up for debate. Like, we all just read that and know instantly, yes, this is true. Yet, so many of us go through our lives just not really thinking about this or applying this to our lives. You know, we use the word motivation a lot, but it's not really about motivation, it's about discipline. Sure, if you have a natural motivation to do something, well, yeah, you're going to just do it. But you can't really make yourself to be motivated, but you can make yourself to be disciplined. I mean, that's what discipline is. So it's kind of about doing what you know you need to do, regardless of if you feel like it or not. Just doing it anyways. Just kind of assuming that that's just what you do. That's just the kind of person you are. You just do that. And it's not about, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I should do that. It's just, okay, I do this now. This is what I do. And I get so many comments on my YouTube channel about students who are so, I don't know, feeling bad, let's say, just feeling negative. Okay, that could be many different things, but just feeling negatively because they feel like they're not good enough in their speaking, in their listening, in their whatever related to English. And people don't realize that it takes a long time and a lot of effort, like years and years of constantly using it. People think that if they just study in a very minimal way a few times a week, that they're going to get the same results as somebody who just absolutely immerses themselves in the language nonstop for years. And people also don't realize that you can immerse yourself in a language even just with the internet. It depends on how much time you want to put into it. There are so many things you can do. I feel like a broken record. I've said this a million times. But nowadays with the internet, it's really all on you. And you have to speak a lot. A lot. Most students don't realize how much they need to speak in order to speak a language well, in order to feel confident, in order to speak well. They don't realize how much speaking they need to do. Right? I have done so much speaking in my second language that I feel like I have rewired my mouth, like my tongue, my mouth. I feel like I have muscles that I didn't have before speaking this language, before being a speaker of this language. You really have to you have to speak so much that you become another person. And I don't think students realize that. But it doesn't happen quickly. And from day to day, week to week, month to month, you won't feel like you're improving. But when you look back years in the past, you realize how far you've come. And I think that's what this book, Atomic Habits, is really about, is that we don't really perceive growth and success in short periods of time. And because of that, a lot of people get demotivated. It's hard for people to really grasp long-term success and how that is built and how long that takes and how many days and hours and weeks and months and years of work it takes. It's hard for the human brain to grasp that, even though as humans we have the ability to kind of perceive time, periods of time, the passing of time that other animals cannot really perceive. We still struggle with it. I feel that our brains are still struggling a bit to really grasp it, to really grasp how much changes over time. And yes, I think the people who have an easier time grasping that, or don't even worry about grasping it, they just know that if they're disciplined every day, it will pay off. These people will have the most success. So, sometimes I assume that we all have enough common sense to know that those videos and courses and scams that say you can learn a language in a short amount of time are just, marketing scams. I assume that people know that, but a lot of people really don't even know that. It's crazy how many people don't know that. But yeah, learning another language is a lifelong endeavor. You are creating a whole new version of yourself, a whole new brain, a whole new section of your brain. That's what it feels like. So, yeah. It's not something to take lightly or to expect quick results. All right. That was just my own little 2 cents related to learning English, because I know some of you guys are concerned about that. All right. Let's move on to book number 3. How are we feeling? You gotta go to the bathroom? You relaxed? Do you need a blanket? Want to put your feet up? You got your eyes closed? You want to cover up your eyes? Maybe get a sleeping mask? Is it dark out? Is it light out? Are you listening in the daytime or the nighttime? Okay. Book number 3. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart? Yeah. All right. The summary is, you don't need to fix your life. You need to wake up to the moment you're already in. Key takeaways. 1. The present moment is all that truly exists. The past is a memory. The future is imagination. Most of our suffering happens because we live everywhere but now. 2. Your mind is not your identity. The constant chatter inside your head isn't you. It's just thought. And when you notice it, you begin to separate yourself from it. 3. Acceptance is liberation. When you stop resisting what is, life softens. The moment you accept the present fully, even pain loses its edge. 4. Ego thrives on problems. The mind loves to find something wrong because that's how it keeps itself alive. Awareness ends that game. 5. Presence is power. You don't have to add anything to be peaceful. You just have to stop trying to escape this moment. Reflective lesson. Freedom begins when you stop arguing with reality. The present moment is never the enemy. It's the doorway. All right. What do we think about that? Yes, I've definitely heard this before several times. There's a lot of truth in it. Though I think too much of this way of thinking, kind of an obsession with this way of thinking can kind of gaslight yourself. And it can make you a bit complacent, because sometimes there is a problem and we need to do something about it and not just accept it and be with it, you know? But a lot of the time, we create unnecessary problems. We create problems where there really isn't a problem. And I think that's where this book comes in very nicely. All right, when I started this video, I didn't think that I would put my commentary on each summary, after each summary. I didn't really think about that, but now I'm realizing that I like commenting on it. It makes it less robotic for those of you who are not sleeping and those of you who are actually listening, which you don't have to, but if you are more actively listening or paying attention to what I'm saying, you might be interested in my commentary and not just robotically reading the book summaries. So, that being said, I'm going to go back to the first one that we read, Sapiens, and I'm going to give you my commentary on the summary that we read. So, this is interesting. There's a lot of things I could say about this one, but the thing that I wanted to comment on was the agricultural revolution bringing stability, but at a cost. Early humans traded a nomadic, free lifestyle for permanent settlements, repetitive work, and social hierarchies. We got more food, but less joy. Okay, so it's kind of showing how the agricultural revolution was not all rainbow and sunshine. We got more predictability, stability, food, abundance. Also, we were able to grow our population. There were various benefits to the agricultural revolution in our species. But there also came problems with the lack of the nomadic lifestyle and living and farming and stuff. But it kind of paints the agricultural revolution to be the reason why hierarchies began, social hierarchies, leading to things like rulers, governments, and whatnot. I think that's an oversimplification. I think that human beings could have agriculture without having problematic hierarchies, right? These problematic social structures. Like lords and peasants and, rulers of the land and governments and stuff. I think simply by having agriculture, it does not mean that we have to have hierarchies. I think those things kind of came together. They developed together, but they don't have to. Like simply by having agriculture, it doesn't mean that we're automatically doomed to have a problematic social hierarchy. Does that make sense? Like, I think the things can be connected, but they don't have to be. In an ideal situation. Also, it frames the agricultural revolution like this is the first time that humans were doing repetitive work and they were less happy and they had their society turned to crap, basically. But I think hunter-gatherer tribes, I think pre-agricultural populations also had repetitive work. And they probably also did have some hierarchy to a certain degree, leaders and whatnot. I'm sure they had social problems and experienced pain and whatnot. And, and who's to say? Later in this summary, it also says like how the modern world, we have so much power, but we've achieved so much, but yet we're still searching for deeper meaning, and we're not necessarily happier or anything now. But who's to say, maybe some people are happier now, and maybe some people are not happier now. Like it's kind of putting putting all 8 billion humans on the planet right now into a generalization about like we are unhappy, or we are not happy, or it's kind of like a generalization. It's also assuming that our peak of happiness was in meaning in life was when we were hunter-gatherers or whatever, and I disagree with that. I think in those cases, because we depended on it, community was very strong, and we had to be resilient and adaptive to change, and there was a lot of movement and change in the nomadic lifestyle. And yeah, I'm sure it was interesting and exciting in some ways and whatnot, but I think the human condition, the human consciousness is always going to be searching for deeper meaning. I think even extraterrestrial beings who are more advanced than us technologically or intelligence-wise or whatever, I think even they are probably searching for deeper meaning or truth or feeling or something, experience, growth. If you want to go really macro with it, if you want me to be honest about my spiritual beliefs, I personally believe that God is everything. Everything is one. And the kind of point of life or the universe or consciousness, which is, I guess, God, is to know itself. I believe God wants to know itself, and therefore it has fragmented itself into all of these different parts, all these different creatures and humans and animals. And through that, it is trying to know itself. And so I think it is kind of the very nature of life to be always kind of searching for deeper meaning, more meaning, the meaning, something more. And that's kind of the human condition too, is that you can get everything that you wanted in life. You can be living your dream, and it's never enough, right? There's always something else. There's always something more. There's always the next thing. And this is where the power of now by Eckhart Tolle comes in. It's kind of just understanding that it's like a never-ending search. The mind is constantly looking for the next thing or something even more meaningful or whatever. But we have to become aware of that and realize that is a kind of not a trap. I think it does lead us down our life paths, and it does motivate us to kind of follow our life journeys and discover things about ourselves and life. And I think it's kind of this search that we have in us is kind of a beautiful, inspiring thing. I think without it, we would have nothing, right? If we didn't have the contrast between what we have and what we want, how could any of it even exist? It's the yin and the yang. It's kind of essential, and there's no way out of it. So I guess the important thing is to become aware of it and not let it ruin you. Like not let it destroy you or really get you down. Just kind of understand that that's what life is, and that's what the human experience is. And that, if you let the monkey brain run, it'll always want something more, but you have to realize that you are happy in the now. And maybe you're not, and that's okay. But appreciating the little things and focusing on the little things. Because whether you're a hunter-gatherer, a human in the beginning of the agricultural revolution, or in modern times, you're still just a human. And there's always going to be good and bad things, right? And it's all subjective anyways. And there's always going to be this search deep inside. And so it's not really about achieving anything, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't strive to achieve things either. But we shouldn't expect that achieving things is going to fulfill us completely. That's what it is. So it's about finding the balance between keeping that fire that drives you to achieve things and to go after dreams and whatnot, to search and discover, without expecting to find something or to achieve something that will then completely fulfill you in every way. And you'll be done, and that's it. Because that's not what life is. It's not about reaching a particular point and then you win the game. That's not what it is. So, yes, some people are playing it like a video game, but it's, in that sense, expecting it to be like that, but it's not. But do you remember, for those of you who played video games when you were a kid or whatever, or maybe you still do, I remember I used to play Mario and Super Mario Bros. On my little Game Boy. And the whole time you're playing, you're like, I got to complete this level, and then I get to the next level, and then and you go through the different worlds, and it's all to get to the very, very end of the last level, to beat it, to win it, and to get to the end of the game. But then when you finally do get to the end, it feels like, well, now I just want to go back to the beginning and start over. It's kind of sad. It's like, oh, it's all over now. I think that's a great metaphor for life, because it's not about getting to the last level and beating it. It's about having fun playing the game. Yeah. There are a lot of metaphors for this, and a lot of people have said this over time. This is nothing new. But anyways, yes. Okay, let's continue with book number 4. How are we doing on time? All right, just wanted to check my little timer here. All right, we're good. Okay, so book number 4 is called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. I haven't heard of this one. I tend to live under a rock, so don't be surprised. All right. One-line summary. What looks like personal genius often hides a web of luck, timing, and cultural advantage. Let me read that again. What looks like personal genius often hides a web of luck, timing, and cultural advantage. Are you understanding that? I think I am. Key takeaways. The 10,000 hour rule. Mastery isn't talent. It's time. Boom, right there. I told you guys right there. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about learning a language. Mastery isn't talent, it's time. It's time. I agree with that, like 90%. However, there are people who it is easier for them to learn something faster than somebody else. Some people do, like talent is a thing. It is a thing. It's not only time, but it is more important than talent. I think time is more important than talent, but I do think talent is a factor. Okay, so it says most world-class performers practice roughly 10,000 hours before reaching excellence. Not because of luck, but because they had the chance. 2, opportunity is unevenly distributed. Where and when you were born matters. Even your birth month can shape your chances in sports or school. 3, culture shapes destiny. Our upbringing, language, and values silently guide our behavior. Success is never detached from culture. 4, behind every success story are hidden helpers, teachers, families, and communities open doors that talent alone could never unlock. 5, hard work matters, but the right kind of work matters more. Practice, persistence, and timing create the magic combination. Reflective lesson. No one makes it entirely alone. Every success story is really a story of connection. I like that. Every success story is really a story of connection. It's true. Because, like, when I think about, I do think that I have a little bit of talent for learning languages, specifically the pronunciation of languages. I think I'm good at pronunciation, like hearing a sound and imitating it, even if I've never made those sounds before or I'm not used to making those sounds in my native language. I think I am good at just listening and imitating sounds. And I think I have a good memory. And these things are very helpful in learning a language. However, I did have a ton of privilege. I did have a particular certain childhood experiences and other things that contributed to my talents being able to be brought to life. You know, like the question is, what was I born with versus what was a result of my upbringing, and how do those two things work together? And that's something that we'll never really know, but you know, it's really hard to calculate a specific answer to that in like each particular person's case. But the point is that I think of this book and everything I'm saying is that humans tend to give too much credit to some natural talent, like this idea of being born with a natural talent. And while it does exist to an extent, a lot of the so-called talent was kind of groomed or cultivated through their privilege, their childhood, their life experiences, adult experiences. And then a huge factor that is completely forgotten about most of the time is time and kind of synchronicity, circumstance, being in the right place at the right time, like, yeah, a lot of things. There are so many factors, so many factors. And absolutely, children who grow up surrounded by people and things that really help them develop as a person are at such an advantage compared to kids that grow up and they're born with just as great, talented DNA or whatever as the other kid, but they just grew up in a life situation, in a place and a time where they just didn't have half the resources or the support, the help in their development, and and yeah, it's weird to think about how we're kind of all just like products of our accidental births. And yes, this is why I don't really understand the point of pride tied to random birth circumstances. For example, pride tied to a country, the country that you're from, or even a culture, or like a language, or like your physical appearance, I don't know, like genetics, family, I don't know, like, to me, you should only be proud of that which you achieved. But I don't understand pride tied to things that were just a matter of circumstance, right? It's like being proud to be from a particular country when it was just a total accident that you were born there. You could have been born somewhere else, So, yeah. We really are just all randomly born in different parts of the world, in different families, and it's kind of just all random. At least that's what it seems to be. Some spiritual teachers, people think that our souls or our consciousness or whatever was, it chose to go into certain bodies or lives, or chose to be born into certain people, and some people believe in karma and whatever. There are a lot of things, but it is all kind of seemingly random, right? Just kind of somebody's just born in a situation, and that will determine a lot about that person's life, their success, and what they make of themselves. And it's kind of unfortunate. It is very unfortunate for people who are born into much less privileged situations. Yeah. I wonder if people like reading this book because it kind of makes them feel like, because the book is called Outliers, so it kind of makes people feel better about themselves, like, oh yeah, those people that are way more successful than me, they just had maybe some more advantages. Not always, though, but or you could be like me. When I see people who are more successful than me in certain aspects, because I wouldn't say that anyone is more successful than me, like all around, right? Because everybody wants different things in life, but certainly in certain aspects, I feel like some people, I might look at people who are more successful than me in certain aspects. But usually I think, oh, I know how they got that. And I know that it took a lot of effort and time. And I could probably have that too if I wanted to put in that amount of effort and time. But I personally don't want to. Yeah, I'm a person who doesn't like to work for money a lot, for example. So when I see people who are more successful with money or like making money, I'm like, well, yeah, they put in way more time and effort than I do. Like, I don't care enough to sacrifice all my time for money. But sometimes no, sometimes it seems like they just are luckier than me. And maybe it's luck, or maybe it's just kind of timing the right thing at the right time. And yeah, I think there is a luck factor though, I definitely. But you could call it being in the right place at the right time, synchronicity, whatever, but because sometimes people don't put in very much effort and they have great success, and they're doing something very mediocre that a lot of people could do, but for some reason they just got success. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to think about this. All right. Number 5. The subtle art of not giving a fuck. Oh, I didn't think I was going to swear on this. Hey, I'm just reading it. It's what the book is called, okay? The book is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. I love that he really titled his book that. It's great. Okay. 1-line summary. You can't control everything, but you can control what you care about. And that's where real freedom begins. Are you seeing a similar theme here with these books? It's like trying to bring your awareness to the power of your mind to kind of reshape your perspective, the way you think about things in life, and to benefit yourself, basically, to have a better life. So you can't control everything, but you can control what you care about. And that's where real freedom begins. Key takeaways. Number 1, life is limited, so your attention must be too. You only have so many fucks to give. Choose them wisely. 2, happiness is solving problems, not avoiding them. The point isn't to live a pain-free life. It's to live a meaningful one. 3, values define everything. If your values are shallow, like being like being right, rich, or liked, your life will feel hollow. Choose values that bring depth. 4, failure is the path. Avoiding pain just creates more pain. Growth demands discomfort. 5, certainty is an illusion. The sooner you accept that you don't know everything, the more peace you'll find. Reflective lesson. Letting go of what doesn't matter doesn't make you careless. It makes you free. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people who need to understand this have a hard time understanding this, if you know what I mean. I think a lot of people who would need to read this book probably wouldn't even really assimilate it, and they probably won't even read it. But for those of us who don't really have so much of an issue with letting go of stuff or not giving a F, yeah, I wouldn't waste my time reading this book, because I think I've already mastered the art of not giving an F in a lot of ways in my life. I like to call myself an anti-people pleaser, because I like to just do what I want to do and not care about pleasing other people. And yeah, this is why I don't think I could work a 9-to-5 job, and I don't think because I know life is limited and my attention must be, so I just don't care enough to, I don't know, spend so much of my time on things that I don't want to spend my time on. And I am privileged to be able to do what I do, but yeah, I have a really hard time focusing a lot on dumb stuff. So I don't know. I just move on, get over it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't care about a lot of things. I guess is what I'm saying. A lot of things people care about, I notice I don't really care about. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like this book is about more stuff though. Like the key takeaways were all very different, and like, I don't know, I think this book is not just about not caring. I think or letting go of stuff. I think it's more than that, but yeah, I don't know. All right, hold on. I'm going to take a drink of my water because I'm really thirsty. Could you hear that? Could you hear me gulping down water? I just drank like half a bottle of water. I'm so thirsty. I'm recording this at 2 a.m. because I'm a night owl and it's quiet in the nighttime. And tonight, like a couple hours ago, I ate some homemade ramen. It was really good. I'm in São Paulo, Brazil right now. And there in São Paulo, there's a huge Japanese population. And so there's a Japanese store right near my apartment. And I'm obsessed with it. I go there all the time. It's like my grocery store now. I go there more than any other food store. I just love Asian food, Japanese food, but all Asian food really. And so tonight I made like homemade ramen with miso, some nice miso paste, like really like good miso, like fermented alive, you know. And some ramen noodles, like, but not like the fried ones, but like from a package, you cook them for like 5 minutes. Some tofu, mushrooms, bok choy. Oh, I love bok choy. And I had some veggie dumplings in there too. Some just like frozen dumplings I put in there. And I put also in some miso in the broth. And I also put some gochujang, which is like Korean red pepper paste. Really good. It's like the perfect amount of spice. It's also fermented, but it doesn't have a strong fermented taste. And I put in some vegetarian oyster sauce, which is made from mushrooms and soy sauce. And it was really good. I'm really proud of myself for making that dinner. I'm going to make it all the time now. I just made it for the first time and it's amazing. So, but it's salty. Like, I don't know. It made me thirsty. Now I'm really thirsty and I'm reading out loud. So I'm getting really thirsty. So let me drink some more water. Hold on. I'm a person who's extremely sensitive to dehydration. Like I get dehydrated so easily. I have to always drink water and a lot of water, like with my meal. I cannot eat food without drinking water. And I have to always drink a ton of water all day long and wake up in the night and just guzzle water because I'm dehydrated. Yeah, I'm just always so sensitive to dehydration. And especially when I eat like salty stuff, which, I mean, let's be honest, it's like every day. Salty cooked food. But if I eat fruits, like juicy fruits, then I'm not thirsty because or even if I just eat, sometimes I'll eat a cucumber, like a whole big cucumber with my meal. And then I don't get so thirsty because it's hydrating. Yeah. So basically, I need to eat more hydrating foods, like fruits and stuff. And I won't be as thirsty and dehydrated. But sometimes I don't. And so then I just guzzle water. Just drink a lot of water. Okay. Next book is called Educated by Tara Westover. Is it Tara or Tara? No, it's probably Tara. I don't know. Okay. I'm starting to get tired, but let's keep going. Are you sleepy? Because I'm sleepy. Okay. One-line summary. A woman born into isolation learns that education is just about books. No, sorry. It isn't just about books. It's about reclaiming your identity. Okay. Key takeaways. 1. Ignorance isn't always chosen. Sometimes it's inherited. Tara was raised in a family that distrusted schools, medicine, and the outside world. Her education became an act of rebellion. 2. Family loyalty can conflict with self-truth. Loving people who deny your reality forces impossible choices: to belong or to be free. Sometimes choosing yourself means losing those you love. 3. Knowledge is power and pain. Learning to see clearly can shatter illusions that once made you feel safe. But truth, once seen, can't be unseen. 4. Self-invention is survival. Tara didn't just earn degrees. She built herself from scratch, crafting a new identity from the ruins of her old one. 5. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. You can forgive someone and still walk away. Healing doesn't always include return. Reflective lesson. Education isn't just what you learn, it's what you unlearn. See, I feel like I learned this when I was like 19, but okay. It's always interesting to read a whole summary of a book, and it's like, yeah, I know this already. Like, I thought this was common sense. No, it's not. It's not common sense for a lot of people. But it should be. Yeah, I learned this at a very young age. You have to unlearn a lot of things that are false. A lot of people just spread misinformation and myths and things that they don't even really know about. A lot of people just follow what everybody else does, and they don't really question it. So I've always been a very big questioner my whole life, and I had to unlearn a lot of things that people around me, adults in my life that raised me, everybody around me just kind of took for as truth. So everybody just accepted it. And I said, nope, no, something's not right here. So yeah, I see the truths in a lot of topics, a lot of things that a lot of my family members and people I know don't really see it, because they just kind of go along with it, with what everyone else thinks. Okay. Number 7, The 5 a.m. Club. Oh God, by Robin Sharma. People who are so motivated to wake up in the morning and do their whole day before 10 a.m. Awesome. Awesome, good for you. But I'd rather do my whole day between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. I would rather do everything I want to do in a day before 5 a.m., meaning I start at midnight. Believe me, I wish I was a person who woke up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and went to bed at 8 p.m. or something like that. I don't know. I'd love it, but I'm not. And I don't want to be, so I won't be. But let's see what Robin has to say. All right, 1-line summary. Your mornings are sacred. Guard them fiercely, and they'll shape your entire life. Key takeaways. Victory begins before sunrise. Sorry, this is number 1. Those quiet early hours hold unmatched potential for growth, reflection, and focus. Yeah, that's why I like staying up all night, because they're quiet hours, because everybody else is asleep, and I can just have peace and quiet and do a lot of stuff. I love the nighttime. Yes, you could wake up at 5 a.m. and have quiet for, what, an hour or two? But pretty soon, you're going to start hearing cars, because people get up early and leave for work early, and like the sun's going to come up very quickly, and you're going to start hearing noise. But if you stay up all night like me, then you have a long time of quiet. And then you can record yourself making ASMR videos on YouTube, like me. So I think if your reason to get up at 5 a.m. is to have quiet time while everybody's asleep, then just stay up all night like me. It's the same, you get even more time. Okay. 2. The 20-20-20 formula. Spend 20 minutes moving, 20 minutes reflecting, and 20 minutes learning. This sets the tone for a powerful day. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Okay. I was going to say I tend to do this, but when I wake up, but not always. Okay, 3. Solitude sharpens creativity. Early mornings are when the world is silent enough to hear yourself think. Yes, once again, that's why I stay up all night. Robin is confused. He thinks you can only have quiet at 5 a.m. Okay. I'm telling you, once it's like midnight on a weekday, as long as it's not the weekend, on a weekday, midnight and later is quiet. Trust me. Especially like 2 a.m. Yeah. Ain't nobody out there on the street. Okay. 4. Discipline is a form of self-love. Waking early isn't punishment. It's a commitment to your highest self. 5. Own your morning, elevate your life. When you control the first hour, you influence the next 23. This man really wrote a whole, I'm guessing it's a man, maybe it's a woman, but I'm guessing it's a man. This person really wrote a whole book about getting up at 5 a.m. and being more successful because of it or whatever. I'm sorry, but these are kind of the kind of people we hate. These are like the annoying people that will never be able to attend any nighttime event. You know, like this person cannot go out and have a nice dinner with their friends at 8 p.m. and be back home by 10 because they're going to be too tired. Because me, by the time they go to bed, it's going to be 11 and they're not going to be able to sleep. They're only going to get 6 hours. And I need way more than that. Human beings need more than 6 hours to be healthy. And especially as a woman, I need at least 8 hours, preferably more. So Robin is basically saying that he has no life past 8 p.m. He's got no nightlife. And I'm not saying he's got to go out clubbing. I don't do that. I'm just saying this person is like unavailable in the night, in the evening, in the nighttime, because they wake up religiously at 5 a.m. I could not be married to this person unless they woke up at 5 a.m., cleaned the whole house quietly, silently, made no noise doing so, and made food and just prepared everything for the day. Then I think I could live with this as long as they didn't wake me up. But God, that would be so crazy. I would be going to bed at like 4 a.m. and then my partner would wake up an hour later. We would be on total opposite sleep schedules. That would be crazy. Okay. All right. Oh, I didn't do the reflective lesson. The sunrise is an invitation to begin again with intention. Okay, this is probably the lamest book in my opinion. It's for a very specific audience. It's literally called the 5 a.m. Club. It's a club and I'm not in it and I don't want to be in it. I'll pass. Thank you though. Thank you, Robin. I'll pass. All right, number 8. Think like a monk. Shetty. Oh, Shetty has a podcast. 1-line summary. You don't have to live in a monastery? I forget how to say that word. Monastery? You don't have to live in a monastery to find peace. You just have to master your mind. Okay, sorry, all these books are about mastering your mind. You see what's trending? You see what is the most popular book genre that sells? Why do people read self-help books so much? Because 'Cause you know why? Because they're searching, they're unhappy with their life, and they want to know how they can be better. I would rather watch a 20-minute video on YouTube about it. I don't want to read a whole book about self-help stuff, like improve your life personally. To me, that's way too much time to be spending on that. I'd rather read a book and learn other information that's more, I don't know. The truth is, I don't really read stuff in English. I pretty much just read stuff in other languages to improve my Spanish or Portuguese. I like to read out loud just to learn and practice. But I don't really read stuff in English most of the time because I think it's boring. I'd have to be really motivated. I'd have to really be interested in a particular book and a particular topic to read it in English, I think. But I like more information stuff. Information about some topic that I'm interested. Like I would read the Sapiens book, the first one that we reviewed on this list, because it's not a self-help book. It's like about human history. I think it's fascinating. But I wouldn't read the self-help books. Okay, anyways, back to the summary of Think Like a Monk. Key takeaways. We are trained for success, not happiness. Modern life teaches us to chase achievements instead of alignment. 2. Detachment. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means loving fully without losing yourself in outcomes. 3. Service is the root of purpose. When you focus on giving instead of getting, life becomes meaningful again. 4. Your environment shapes your energy. Protect your peace like it's sacred. Because it is. I do that very well. 5. Train your mind daily. Gratitude, meditation, and compassion aren't feelings. They're skills. I like that one. Gratitude, meditation, and compassion aren't feelings. They're skills. Compassion isn't a feeling. It's a skill. I like that. That's interesting. Okay. Reflective lesson. You don't find peace by escaping the world. You find it by bringing stillness into it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Number 3, service is the root of purpose. When you focus on giving instead of getting, life becomes meaningful again. So that brings us back to Sapiens and kind of this eternal human quest, 70,000 years ago and in modern times. This kind of eternal human quest to find meaning in life. And our purpose, and really it's just about service. It's about giving to each other and serving each other, which is really just kind of feeling useful and connecting and I don't know. Feeling like you belong. It's like a sense of belonging. Like I'm needed. I am useful, I am helping, I am needed, I belong. And that's kind of what we're looking for, right? We're all looking just to kind of belong in a certain place. And that belonging could take many forms. It doesn't have to be belonging in society or belonging, that could be there are many different interpretations of that. But yeah, interesting. Think like a monk. All right. Number 9, The Body by Bill Bryson. One-line summary. A funny, fascinating tour inside the miracle machine you live in, the human body. Key takeaways. 1. You're a walking universe. Trillions of cells, microbes, and systems work together, mostly flawlessly, to keep you alive. 2. The body is astonishingly resilient. It heals, adapts, and regenerates constantly, even when you mistreat it. 3. Medicine is built on curiosity. Most of what we know about health came from people brave enough to ask weird, uncomfortable questions. 4. We are fragile. Fragile? Yeah. Yet enduring. A small imbalance can kill us. Yet we survive against absurd odds every day. 5. Respect your body, not for how it looks, but for the miracle of what it does. Reflective lesson. You don't need perfection to be grateful, just awareness. Okay, I didn't expect that to be the reflective lesson, but yeah, I like the last 2 key takeaway points. We are fragile yet enduring. A small imbalance can kill us, yet we survive against absurd odds every day. Yeah, it is crazy how like the littlest imbalance in our body, like the littlest thing that's off, can absolutely kill us. I mean, at any point our heart could just stop beating. I mean, it's like there's so many things. We're like this big bag of soft tissue, and we're just a big squishy bag being held together by these bones, but I don't know. It's also weird to think about your brain, just like this big squishy thing that's where your whole sense of awareness and identity is coming from. And it's weird to like hold your head and be like, oh, my whole sense of anything is inside of there. My whole perception of reality is inside of here. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, everything is in there. Okay, and then also I like respect your body. Not for how it looks, but for the miracle of what it does. Yeah, we get so caught up in the way the body looks, but there's so much going on inside. And sometimes people look fine on the outside, and the inside it's things are not going well, and vice versa. So, yeah. We are fragile beings, but at the same time, we're very resilient. Like, our bodies take so much crap. And they're also very good at fighting things off. Yeah. It's quite amazing. Okay. Let's do number 10. And then I think I'm going to stop for today for me. But I will probably, I'll probably pick up again another day and do the next set of 10 books to make this extra long. If you're still listening, let me know in the comments if you would be fine with one of these videos just being like an hour and a half long, or you want like several hours long. Like, how long do you like these kinds of videos? Let me know. Okay. 10. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Sorry, even though it's almost 3 a.m, there's some trucks going by. You can probably hear them in the background. It's a very loud truck. Okay, so this book is called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. 1-line summary. Creativity isn't something you chase. It's something you allow. Ooh. Key takeaways. Number 1. Fear and creativity travel together. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's inviting it along for the ride and not letting it drive. Yeah. That 100%. People have often called me courageous or brave for like whatever, like little things like traveling around the world or being alone or like whatever. I don't know. Just stuff that for me is like not a big deal. And it's not that I don't feel fear. I do. But I just take it along for the ride anyway. I just don't let it drive. I take my fear with me when I travel, but I make it sit in the back seat. 2. Ideas are alive. Inspiration visits those who stay open. It's not magic, but it feels that way. 3. Perfectionism is the enemy of creation. Waiting to be ready is a form of fear. Start messy. 4. That's true. I can attest to that with my YouTube channel, like in my everything, like my entire online presence, making videos and whatnot, which I started actually not even on YouTube. I started on Instagram and TikTok. The funny thing is nowadays I don't even use Instagram and TikTok. I only do YouTube. I'm a YouTuber now. And I don't like Instagram and TikTok. I'm just on YouTube. But I started anyways. I started on the, making short videos and whatnot. And I had no knowledge. I had horrible equipment. I mean, basic equipment. I had no knowledge of what the heck I was doing. My quality was really bad. My videos, I really had no experience making videos, talking to a camera. I didn't know what I was doing. I was making videos like speaking Spanish, which, there's another loud truck. I was speaking Spanish, which my Spanish was like fine, but it wasn't like perfect. It's never perfect. It's not my native language, but yeah, that's how I started. I started making videos in Spanish, but then I switched to just English in 2025. But the point is, I started with very messy videos. Like my videos were not that, like I look back at my old videos, my first videos and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's so cringy. Like those videos were so bad. Like my first videos were so bad, so low quality, so boring, so cringy. I can't believe I put them on the internet. But nowadays, it's just that I've learned a lot. I've learned so much in the process of doing it and improved a lot. But in the beginning, it was messy, but I didn't want to wait until, my whole life I thought I was a perfectionist. And maybe I am in some ways, but I really don't think I'm that much of a perfectionist compared to some people, compared to a lot of people, because I think I just let go of my perfectionism because I didn't want it to prevent me from being successful in life. So, like it says here, perfectionism is the enemy of creation. Like I knew that my videos weren't perfect, and far from it, they weren't that great, but I just wanted to start and get out there and get myself out there. And you have to start somewhere. You have to start at some point. You can't just wait. You can't just put it off forever. At some point you have to just do it. And it might be scary and whatever, but you just have to do it. And that's what I would recommend for anybody who wants to post content online. They're waiting for the right moment or whatever. You just have to do it. And you just have to and then you have to read the book, How to Not Give a Fuck. Like just the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Like you have to just read that book. And then this book also, Big Magic. Read those books together and just just let go of it. Like, you know, it's okay to be afraid, but do it anyways. Like, don't let it block you. Don't let it stop you. And yeah, if you might start out not that great, but if you're always seeking to improve and grow and see how you can improve and grow, then you will naturally over time. And then, yeah, eventually you'll look back at your original stuff and be like, that was cringy, but it got me to where I am today. And I'm so glad I did it. You know, I have never met or heard of a person like regretting posting stuff on the internet. I know people talk crap about the internet and the dark side of the internet and the bad side of the whatever, social media and whatnot. But I don't know. I haven't really heard a lot of people saying that they really regret like ever posting content. Usually they say like, yeah, it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows, but I'm glad I started. I'm glad I did it anyways, because it got me to where I am and it got me amazing opportunities and it got me, you know, so much more than I expected. So yeah. Now I'm not saying everybody can post content on the internet and make a living off it and make lots of money. I'm not saying that. It's very hard. And some people just don't ever get to the point. A lot of people don't ever get to the point where it can become a full-time job or even a part-time job. So, you know, you can't, you got to be realistic about it. Not everybody's going to be wildly successful. But if you're okay with, you know, it being a long process and not doing it to achieve a certain final goal, but just to go along for the ride and experience it, then yeah. Like, for example, when I first started making videos on the internet, it wasn't because I was trying to be a YouTuber who makes money off ad revenue or whatever. I started making videos simply because I wanted to reach more people to get more students for my classes. But then eventually I was able to make money with the ads on YouTube. And then I didn't have to rely on classes. So my original reason for doing it was not to reach some end goal, full-time job, replacement thing, all kinds of money. No, it was just, I was like, you know what? If I post some videos and a few people watch it, you know, 100 people watch it, and I get 5 more students, fantastic. Oh my God, they're so loud. It is 2:47 a.m. and they are so loud out there on the street right now. Sorry about that. It's out of my control. But yeah, I was saying that, yeah, I was fine. When I first started posting videos, I thought, okay, if 100 people see it and I get 5, 10 more students, to me, that's a win. I don't need thousands. I don't need, you know, I just want a little, you know. So your reason of doing something has to be a more like attainable thing. Like it has to be, oh, this is my passion and I want to share it and I enjoy doing it. It's fun, you know, or whatever. You have to have a more attainable goal. And then if it turns into something more, great, but you can't expect it, you know. If you're going to make content on the internet, I recommend it. It's great, but don't do it with a big expectation, you know. Okay, but yeah, back to the point of this book summary. Yeah, for years I waited for the right moment to start my YouTube channel. And maybe I wasn't ready, but maybe I started at the right time, but I don't know. I'd say if you really want to do it, just do it. Because, yeah, just do it. You don't need to be ready. Waiting to be ready is a form of fear. Okay. The next bullet point is what is it called? Key takeaway. Number 4, curiosity beats passion. You don't need a grand calling, just a consistent interest. Follow what sparks wonder. Okay. Yes. All right. 5, make art for the joy of it, not for validation, money, or approval. Just because creating makes life richer. Reflective lesson. The creative life isn't about being fearless. It's about making peace with fear and creating anyway. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Okay. That's good. All right. So that brings us to the end. I think we're going to stop there because your girl is tired. Your girl needs to go to bed. It's almost 3 a.m. She is tired. I am tired. So I'm going to go brush my teeth. Maybe take a shower if I'm feeling gross and motivated. I'll probably take a shower. I have to get into bed all clean and nice. And then I'm going to go to sleep. Sweet dreams. All right. Yeah. I'll probably come back and record myself another day. Maybe not. If the video stops now, then I didn't. If it keeps going, well, then I came back another day and recorded a part 2. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Love ya. And over and out. Hello, everyone. I am back for part 2 of our relaxing ASMR style fall asleep to my voice, learn, master, improve your English session. Now, we're going to continue with 10 more book summaries. All right, I am ready. Are you ready? I got my sugarcane juice here. I am locked in and loaded. I am ready to read you some book summaries and give a little bit of my commentary because, that's my style. That's what I like to do. All right. So, the first one, we're picking up where we left off. So, this is number 11. It's called Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. By the way, if you're awake and you feel like it, if you recognize any of these books, if you've read any of these books yourself, even in a different language, feel free to let me know in the comments and tell me what you thought about it, because I'm curious. All right. So, Born a Crime is about a boy born to a black mother and a white father in apartheid South Africa who learns to survive, adapt, and reinvent himself through humor and resilience. All right, now this is the kind of book that I would be interested in. The key takeaways are: 1. Identity is complicated when the world tells you that you don't belong anywhere. Trevor's very existence was illegal. So the author is writing about himself, because the author's name is Trevor. Okay. Trevor's very existence was illegal, so he grew up slipping between cultures, never fully fitting into any group, yet learning how to navigate all of them. That outsider perspective became one of his greatest strengths. 2. Humor is more than entertainment. It's survival. Trevor used comedy not just to make people laugh, but to diffuse tension, make connections, and understand the world. Humor became a tool for decoding fear and chaos. 3. A determined mother can change a destiny. Patricia Noah pushed him toward independence, education, faith, and self-respect, even when she herself faced abuse, poverty, and violence. Her stubborn hope shaped his entire life. 4. Language is a bridge. Trevor learned multiple languages, and each one opened doors, diffused conflict, and connected him to communities that would have rejected him otherwise. 5. Survival teaches skills you never forget. Growing up with instability taught him quick thinking, adaptability, and grit, qualities that later helped him rise in comedy, media, and life. Reflective lesson. Sometimes the thing that makes you feel like an outsider is the exact thing that becomes your greatest power. I agree with that. Yes, I relate to that. Not because, there are a lot of sounds going on right now. I really hope it's not loud for you. It's 1:30 in the morning, but you wouldn't know it because people and dogs are so out and active right now. All right, but we're going to carry on. We're going to keep going. All right. I relate to this not because my life was like this at all, but like Trevor's life, but because I think the reason why I always felt like an outsider, or not an outsider as much maybe, but just like different than people, was something that I realized that is something really special about myself, and that is really my greatest power. And I don't want to get into specifics talking about myself right now, but I definitely have experienced this in my life. Yeah, it's very true. Often the thing that makes you different is a gift, really, that allows you to achieve or experience something that other people can't. And it's actually beneficial for you. So this sounds like a really interesting book. I think I myself would like to read a book like this. As somebody who didn't really experience, or I didn't experience at all, growing up as being like mixed, like of mixed ethnicity or race. I also didn't experience multiple languages, growing up with multiple languages. So I didn't really experience that myself, but I know that people who grew up between different countries or different languages or different ethnicities sometimes feel kind of like this weird, like I belong everywhere and nowhere kind of feeling, like nowhere and everywhere, I'm not just this, I am all of this. And it's hard for some people who are just one thing to understand or relate to. And so they see you as like an outsider or different. But I think it's becoming more and more common with globalization and mixing and yeah, I don't know. I think we're just gonna have to, if we want to raise children to be bilingual and trilingual, and we want to learn from other cultures and mix and blend and whatnot, we need to kind of just accept that this is normal, and a lot of people's identity is not so simple. It's more complex, and we can't try to put them in a box. Like Trevor is half white, half black. You can't just say, oh, he's just white or he's just black. Yeah, I think a lot of kids who grow up like that, like mixed like that, they feel like not really white, but not really black. Like but they're both, but they feel like nothing sometimes, which is interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, let's continue with the next book on the list. Okay, the next one is called Grit by Angela Duckworth. One-line summary. Talent matters, but perseverance matters far more. Perseverance matters far more. Long-term effort beats short-term intensity. Okay, so this sounds very similar to a couple of the books that we looked at earlier in this video, in this audio. Basically talking about how perseverance, or there are various factors. Obviously, putting in your 10,000 hours, and also some things that might even be out of your control, like your privilege, your time and place, luck, whatever. All of these things sometimes matter more than talent. And also this book reminds me of another one that was about like how little habits add up to be long-term results, or big results that, like, often day by day you don't feel that you're improving, you don't feel that you're making a lot of progress, but when you look back, you did over the course of a year or 2 or 3, So this summary of this new book that we're looking at, it sounds kind of like a blend of a couple of the books that we talked about before. The key takeaways are: 1, grit is the combination of passion and sustained perseverance. It's sticking with your long-term goals even when the novelty wears off and the work becomes boring or difficult. 2, talent is overrated. Natural ability helps, but gritty people, the ones who show up day after day, almost always outgrow the ones who rely solely on talent. Yes. Yeah, it's the disciplined ones. The people who might not feel like showing up, but they do anyways because of their discipline. These are the ones who almost always outgrow the ones who rely solely on talent. I just want to let you know that she refers to gritty people. Normally in English, if somebody said gritty people, I would think something else. Like, normally that means something else. But basically, I think she has coined this term. She has kind of created this term by using the word grit, which is like, how do I describe grit? It's like, you know what? I'm going to look it up right now because I'm not sure exactly what the definition is. Grit is, in psychology, it is a positive, non-cognitive trait based on a person's perseverance of effort combined with their passion for a particular long-term goal or end state. Okay, so it's like your perseverance of effort combined with passion. Okay. Yeah, so it's like your perseverance, your effort. So from that, they're creating an adjective, gritty, and saying gritty people who have a lot of grit. But normally grit has another meaning. Let me just check it real quick. Gritty, it can be, okay, so it can mean like courageously persistent. That is one of the definitions. But okay, I'm not seeing the other definition that I am looking for. Maybe it was used incorrectly by somebody in my life and I was taught this word wrong. So forget it. Let's just say that gritty people and grit is related to perseverance, effort. Okay. Sorry about that confusion. Sometimes I come across a word that I remember somebody saying in my childhood and I thought it meant something, and then I look it up and realize it meant something else. And that's the issue with being a native speaker is you never really looked up the definitions of all these words that you heard people say, All right. Number 3, purpose fuels persistence. When your work connects to something meaningful, you're more likely to stay committed through discomfort and doubt. Yeah, I like that one. So it doesn't have to be this passion. A lot of people think passion is this very strong word. I use the word passion very lightly, but it doesn't have to be something that you're super crazy about, excited and obsessed and in love with, but just something that gives you a sense of purpose, a sense of like feeling good about yourself and your life and your I don't know. It can just be a purpose, not a passion. And that maybe is a concept that's easier for people to wrap their head around. Because people might feel like, I'm not passionate about a lot of things, but you can feel a sense of purpose just by being in existence and being a human and looking for something to do, to make use of yourself. So when your work connects to something meaningful, something that is important and it matters, then you're more likely to stay committed. Yeah. This brings us back to the book Sapiens, where humans were always looking for like the sense of purpose and deeper meaning and stuff. So it kind of relates to all of these self-help books, because it's like you kind of create the meaning sometimes. It's not like one day the meaning is, or the purpose is just going to show up on your doorstep, obviously. Maybe it will, but a lot of times it's something that we go out and discover, we create for ourselves, or we choose for ourselves, or we create it. So sometimes it's not like you're going to be able to look up to the sky and wait for something to fall in your lap. You just have to create something meaningful and purposeful to then drive you, motivate you to do it, to go that path, that route. Okay, number 4, effort builds skill. And effort turns skill into achievement. Effort counts twice in learning and in execution. It's all about the effort. And one thing is to learn something, another thing is to execute it. Another thing is to put it into practice, right? It's one thing to listen to one of my videos and like, oh, there's that word, that phrase, oh yeah, and to learn it. And then it's another thing to use that word or that phrase yourself. You got me? You picking up what I'm putting down? That's another phrase. It just means like, are you understanding me? Are you getting what I'm saying? All right. 5. Grit can be grown. You're not stuck with the perseverance you were born with. I mean, how much perseverance does a baby have? Actually, a lot. A lot. When babies start being able to crawl and stuff, they get pretty persistent to explore. Okay, you're not stuck with the perseverance you were born with. God, I get distracted. Discipline, passion, and resilience can be consciously developed. Yes, you can develop discipline, passion, and resilience. Absolutely. The more you do it, the more experiences you have, and the more you do things again and again. Reflective lesson. Success is rarely about who starts the strongest. It's about who stays the longest. Yep. It's all about that perseverance, baby. All right. Number 13. Quiet by Susan Cain. One-line summary. Introverts aren't broken. They're powerful in ways society doesn't always recognize. Yeah, for me, this is just like a fact. For me, this is just common sense. Like, I never thought of introverts as broken. To me, introverts are kind of the norm, and like, I feel like extroverts are kind of weird. I think extroverts are kind of like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, I think it's kind of necessary to be introverted to kind of like mature as a person. You know what I mean? Because you have to go into yourself. You have to spend a lot of time alone and with yourself and go into yourself to learn a lot about yourself and to then develop yourself. So people who are not doing that and avoiding that and are just always focused on the external, I don't know. I feel like they're going to be missing a lot of self-awareness. That's just my perception. But yeah, for me, introverts are way more common than extroverts, but I don't know. Maybe that's my perception. I feel like when we were kids at school, maybe like extroverted kids were more popular or whatever, but like as adults, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like so many people are introverted. It's just so normal. It's just, yeah, I don't feel like there's pressure to be extroverted, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. But you might say, but Lau, you are a YouTuber and you do not seem like an introvert. Trust me, I am. It's more about needing to retreat and be alone and recharge, you know? Like, I'll hang out with people and I'll be like, great, that was great, but now I need to spend like several days by myself. Sometimes that's how I feel. I don't know, it depends. It really depends, though. I can be both. I think I'm a mix. I can be very extroverted. It just depends. Like, I can feel energized by who I'm hanging out with or depleted. It just, yeah, I don't know. It just depends on who I'm hanging out with. But even my favorite people that I love to hang out with, I still feel like I need the peace and quiet of just being alone. I need them to go home, and I need them to give me space and to just be with myself. So, yeah. Key takeaways. The world is built for extroverts. Yes and no. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like rewarded to be extroverted in some ways, but I don't know. Anyways, the world is built for extroverts, not because they're better, but because they're louder. Society often mistakes confidence for competence. But introverts bring depth, reflection, and thoughtfulness. Yeah, honestly, I don't even really like using the terms introvert and extrovert because they're used so vaguely. And even though people say, no, it means this, people are using, like right now, this author is basically saying that confidence is being extroverted. Like, no, you can be extremely confident and be an introvert as well. Yeah. I've also met people who are loud and they're leaders and they say, oh no, I'm 100% an introvert. That's why I live alone. Like, I've met people who are such strong leaders and they're like, okay, everybody get out now. I need to be alone. So it's like the lines are blurred so much. I don't know what is what. And honestly, I think I don't even like talking about introverts and extroverts because it's like, what does it even mean? It's not like, I feel like the introvert extrovert concept is trying to put people in boxes in like black or white, It's trying to make a duality where it's a spectrum. There's a spectrum of complex personalities and behaviors and needs and people also act differently depending on who they are with, right? It depends so much on who they're with. So people have multiple personalities. So yeah, people also grow and change over time. Like, yeah. So I don't think I would read this book because I don't really like talking about introverts or extroverts or thinking about it because I just don't understand the point. And I think it generalizes and tries to put us in the boxes. But anyways, that being said, that's my little opinion, but I'm going to continue reading this book summary, okay? Maybe it's interesting to you, all right? I'm not trying to yuck your yum, which means I'm not trying to discourage you, or I'm not trying to talk badly about something that you might like or be interested in. It's just personally not something that interests me. But let's continue reading the summary. Okay, so number 2, introverts think before they speak. Sometimes, and sometimes not really, if you know what I mean. This creates richer insights, stronger decisions, and deeper creativity, qualities that often lead to breakthroughs. 3, solitude. Okay. When you say a word and you're like, what is that a real word? No, it is, but sometimes it just sounds weird, Solitude is fuel, not isolation. Introverts recharge through quiet time, and without that space, they can't function at their best. 4, collaboration doesn't always mean group work. Many people do their most original thinking alone, without the pressure of social performance. 5, we need both temperaments. Extroverts bring energy, introverts bring depth. Society flourishes when each can operate in their natural strength. Reflective lesson. Quiet doesn't mean weak. Sometimes the softest voice in the room carries the most truth. Well, yeah, 100%. And I don't think people disagree with that. I think it's just that sometimes the quietest person in the room is never asked to share their opinion, and they won't interject and advocate for their own opinion. Sometimes some people need to be prompted. They need to be coerced, not coerced, but they need to be encouraged, or they need to be asked. Sometimes they just need to be asked. Okay, next one. Next book is called Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. One-line summary. Vulnerability isn't a weakness. Okay, so we have another blank isn't a weakness kind of book. It's the foundation of connection, courage, and creativity. So it looks like our society has a lot of issues with thinking that things are weaknesses that are really not. Yes, ain't that the truth? Key takeaways. Vulnerability is showing up without guarantees. It's telling the truth, risking rejection, and allowing yourself to be seen as imperfect, which is where all real intimacy begins. Number 2. Shame thrives in secrecy. When we hide our struggles, they grow stronger. Speaking them out loud weakens them instantly. 3. I've just been reading on autopilot and not even really paying attention to what I'm saying. I need to be paying attention because I have some commentary. Yeah, I guess there's not really much for me to comment on right now, but I agree with this stuff. 3. Perfectionism is a shield that doesn't protect you. It's an exhausting performance that prevents connection because it hides your real self. Yeah, it really annoys me when I notice that, I see it as a red flag of emotional immaturity or a lack of emotional intelligence when someone that I'm in a relationship with, or I'm dating, or I don't know, when someone, or anyone, but a lot of times I see it in guys who will never really admit when they're wrong, or never even really apologize genuinely for something, or I don't know, they never show any vulnerability, or a very limited amount of it. And I feel like I am the queen of vulnerability and transparency, and I will just put it all out in the open. I will hide nothing. I literally can't. And I'm always, checking to make sure, am I wrong about this? Should I apologize about this? And I do. But yeah, when I'm with someone that's not being like that also, someone who's not doing their side, their part, I'm just come on, man. To me, it's wild. To me, it's crazy to be in your late 20s and 30s and older, to be still so you'll never not somebody who's so resistant to vulnerability. I'm come on. Why are you acting like that? We're all human. Just let it out, man. Just relax. Just Yeah. Anyways. Number 4. Courage is impossible without vulnerability. Bravery isn't being fearless. It's acting while still feeling fear. Yes, 100%. Continuing with what I was saying, it's a common problem in men, I think even more than women, the resistance to vulnerability, just because of the strong pressure to like be masculine, which masculinity is not about not being vulnerable, but it's just this idea that has been created that vulnerability is a weakness and you can't be weak as a man, and, stuff like that. But really vulnerability is I don't even know if it's a strength or it's just about being a mature human. Like it goes beyond strengths and weaknesses. It's just about being a mature human. Like, that's the way I see it. 5. Connection requires openness. You can't deeply love or be loved while keeping your guard up. Yes, absolutely. It's funny. I've never experienced this myself. I mean, I've never had my guard up to love. Like, I'm always somebody who so easily deeply loves and wants to be loved. Like I have no guard up. I could be like heartbroken. Like somebody could break my heart horribly. And the next month I would be like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to love again. And no, I have no guard up. No, not no guard, but like, I'm not going to be like scared of love because of, like, I've never understood people who are scared of like getting close to people or falling in love or whatever because they're afraid of getting hurt. I am like the opposite. I'm like, let's run 60 miles an hour, head first into it. Okay, reflective lesson. To live a full life, you must let yourself be seen. Not the polished version, but the real one, 100%. Transparency. Just be real. Just be authentic as hell. My zodiac sign is Virgo, which you might not care about that, but I am an earth sign and I am a super just down to earth, like very just real, authentic. I've always just prioritized and valued honesty and transparency so much. Like that is like the number one thing that scares me about people is like a lack of transparency and authenticity. And so I've always just naturally been this way myself. Like to the point where I will say everything I'm thinking, even if it can hurt people. like I sometimes am too honest, like I'm sharing too much that I should probably just keep in my head just because I'm so transparent. But anyways, yeah, I recommend it. Okay, number 15, book number 15 is called Attached by Amir, Levine, and Rachel Heller. We got a double team here. We got tag team 2 authors, co-authors. 1-line summary. Your attachment style explains how you love, how you fight, and why some relationships feel effortless while others feel impossible. Key takeaways. There are 3 main attachment styles: anxious, avoidant, and secure. Each one shapes how you give and receive love. 2. Anxious attachment craves closeness but fears abandonment. This can create patterns of overthinking, clinging, or seeking reassurance, not out of weakness, but out of heightened sensitivity to connection. Yeah, I think I am more this way. If I had to pick one of these, I'm probably, as much as I kind of hate it about myself, I think I am more anxious attached. I think I do have fear of abandonment and fear of, I hate, I hate being separated for a long time. I don't need to be constantly with my partner. Absolutely not. I want my alone time, and I want us to have other things that we do in our lives and hang out with other people and whatever. But I would go crazy if I was with a partner all the time. But I do think that I crave closeness, and I fear abandonment. I fear this person abandoning me, not just in a physical sense, but an emotional sense, emotionally abandoning me in the relationship, in love. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, I think a lot of people are like this. But it says it's not out of weakness, it's out of heightened sensitivity to connection. Well, that's an interesting perspective. I definitely have heightened sensitivity to connection, that's for sure. Yeah. I'm a person who likes to really connect very deeply in relationships, and I never get sick of it. Or I never get turned off from it. As long as I want to be with the person, love the person, Number 3, avoidant attachment values independence so deeply that intimacy can feel threatening. They may pull away, shut down, or maintain emotional distance without realizing the impact. Yeah, these people suck. They're the worst. I never, ever want to try to get in a relationship with somebody like that. I hope that I never fall in love again with somebody like that. I don't know if I've really even ever been in a relationship with somebody like that. I think I've been with more securely attached people who are just a little bit I don't know, apathetic a little bit. They had other issues, but yeah, I don't think I've been with an avoidant person, but the description terrifies me. And the next one is secure attachment, which is balancing independence and closeness. These people communicate clearly, recover from conflict faster, and make relationships feel stable. See, I think that I can be very securely attached if the relationship is healthy. I think I only go into anxious attachment when the relationship is not really healthy and really we just need to end the relationship. But because I'm anxiously attached, I fear that. So then So I think if I am in a healthy relationship, I can be securely attached. I'm not constantly living in fear or clinging or whatever, or constantly seeking reassurance. But if that person is starting to act like they're not that interested, or if the relationship feels one-sided, then I will often fall into this anxiousness. And really, that's just when I need to end the relationship, but the anxiousness will keep me in it. And that's honestly where my problem is. But I just need to find someone who is able to be compatible with me, to have a healthy relationship that we can sustain, so that I can be securely attached, Because in a healthy relationship, like in a healthy heterosexual relationship, the kind that I desire, a man is going to provide this sense of like emotional containment for a woman. And she shouldn't really be doubting his desire to be with her and his love and his care and interest, right? If the man really is healthy and truly wants to be with her, then it will be obvious, right? Then his behavior will reflect that. So if it's not, well then the relationship is not healthy, and then the woman might fall into this kind of anxiousness, or vice versa. It could be the other way around with the genders as well, but I think that if a man is kind of fulfilling his role, and vice versa, if a woman is, making the man feel needed and important and valued and loved and desired, I think if that is happening in both ways and the relationship feels healthy, then I think it's very easy for both people to be kind of securely attached, and they don't have to constantly reassure each other, because they know, and it's something that they just naturally do. You don't have to ask somebody, do you love me, when they tell you all the time, and it's obvious, and you see it in their actions and their behavior, So I think it's just about, I think some people they go into relationships from the beginning with an anxiousness or avoidantness because of maybe childhood trauma or whatever. They bring this with them through life. And they might be like that even in friendships and whatnot. But I think for people who don't go into relationships like that automatically, I think that how secure they feel in a relationship or in the attachment is really just based on how healthy the relationship is and the compatibility between the two people, right? Because like I said, I think the same person could be very securely attached in one relationship, but could be more anxious in another. And I think it depends on the dynamic of that relationship, of the compatibility and whatnot. Likewise, somebody who considers themselves to be avoidant in a relationship, avoidant attachment, might really just not actually be that into the relationship. And maybe in another relationship, they would be more interested and more like less avoidant. I don't know. However, I tend to think the avoidant people, that's something they carry with them through life. Like it's like a resistance to being vulnerable, and I don't know. I think it's more. There's something else going on there. But I don't know. This is just my kind of delirious, tired, overthinking, word vomit, mind, blah, 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 thinking out loud, talking to myself at 2:16 a.m. About this book summary into a mic for thousands of people to listen to, now thinking about their English teacher's relationship attachment style. Oh, you see, I'm so transparent. But that serves me well, I think, in my YouTube channel, because I think people like that about me. Because I'm not like a robot like other YouTubers. I'm very like authentic. Okay. So this book called Attached, the reflective lesson. Oh, sorry, we didn't do number 5. Attachment styles aren't final. With awareness, healthy partners, and conscious effort, you can move towards security regardless of your past. Absolutely, and that's what I'm saying, 100%. It's about really like maturing and finding more healthy, compatible partners and developing yourself consciously, and yeah, 100%. Reflective lesson. Understanding your attachment style isn't about blaming yourself. It's about learning how to love and be loved more peacefully. Yeah, nice. Okay, number 16. The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Yes, this one's very famous. I can picture the book cover in my mind right now. Don Miguel Ruiz. Yes, okay, so yes, the one-line summary is 4 simple principles, when practiced deeply, can transform your inner world and how you experience life. Key takeaways. 1. Be impeccable with your word. Speak truthfully, kindly, and with integrity. Words create reality for yourself and others, so use them as tools, not weapons. 2. Don't take anything personally. What people say and do is a reflection of their own world, not your worth. This frees you from unnecessary suffering. 3. Don't make assumptions. We create most of our pain by imagining stories that aren't true. Clarifying and communicating dissolves conflict. 4. Always do your best. Your best changes day to day. But when you genuinely try, you feel at peace with your effort instead of drowning in guilt or regret. 5. These agreements look simple, but require a lifelong practice. Mastery comes from repetition, awareness, and compassion for yourself. Reflective lesson. Freedom begins when you take responsibility for your inner world. Yeah, it's a lot there. But absolutely. And there's many ways that you can interpret these things, they can apply to a lot of different situations in life. Yeah. I think that the don't take anything personally thing has helped me a lot. To be a YouTuber, for example, like I'm not bothered by negative comments that I get, because I know that it's just like people are unhappy about something and it's not even about me. And yeah, I'm always telling these people to not make assumptions. I see a lot of comments, people who make assumptions about me or things from how they interpreted my video. But people who constantly make assumptions kind of annoy me, because it's like, you don't know, like, stop assuming things. Do you know anybody in your life? I do. I know people who are constantly assuming things. And it's like, bro, what the heck is wrong with you? No, I'm kidding. It's like, stop thinking that you don't know. Yeah. I would like to work on being impeccable with my word. Like, even though I always speak truthfully and with integrity, but I think so. But I want to be more, I guess I just want to improve as a speaker. I want to be more articulate. I want to be more deliberate about what I say. Use less filler words and speak with more precision, clean, like professional, kind of, I guess you could say. Yeah. I don't know if that's what, I guess that's not really being impeccable with your word. Like that's something else, but it just reminded me of how, because I am a very honest person and I don't like to say something that's not true or that's not gonna be something. I don't like to say that I will do something that I'm not gonna follow through with. I am like painfully honest. But this just reminded me though that sometimes I don't speak so like confidently. Like even though I feel confident, what comes out of my mouth doesn't always sound confident. It doesn't always sound clean and well organized. And I would like it to be more that way. So I don't know if that's related to this book, but I just was thinking about that. All right, next one is called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Paulo Coelho. Yeah, this one is extremely famous. I read this when I was a kid. No, maybe I was in high school. I don't know, but I don't really remember it, I should probably read it again as an adult. One-line summary. A shepherd's journey to find treasure becomes a lesson about destiny, intuition, and listening to your heart. Key takeaways. 1. Your personal legend is your soul's calling. It's the life you're meant to live, the path that feels both exciting and frightening. I like that. The path that feels both exciting and frightening. 100%. If it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's probably not big enough and you need to pick a bigger path. And yeah, if it doesn't excite you and frighten you, that's probably not your soul calling. 2. The universe responds to courage. When you take steps toward your destiny, opportunities appear that weren't visible before. I have lived that. I have experienced that myself. Absolutely. 3. Fear is the biggest barrier to your dreams. Most people don't fail. They quit too early or never begin. Ain't that the truth? Most people don't fail. They quit too early or never begin. Yeah. Or sometimes there are other factors that cause them to have like an interruption in their dream, and it's not even failure. For example, some people opened businesses that were shut down or had to be closed or shut down during the pandemic. And that was something out of their control that happened that made it very hard for small business owners, especially people just starting. And so that is not a fail. That's not you failing as a business owner. That's just like something totally out of your control, So that doesn't count as a failure. So yeah, most people don't actually fail, like because of their incompetence. They just There are factors that are out of their control, or they quit too early, or they never even start. Yes, that's absolutely true for language learning. Or sometimes people are just like, they think they're studying a language, but they're kind of doing it wrong. And they're like, why am I not getting good results? It's like, well, because you're like trying to do it in a weird way. Okay, reflective lesson. Oh, no. We didn't even go through all the key takeaways. Look at me jumping ahead. Okay. Number 4. Every detour holds meaning. Even the setbacks, the heartbreaks, the losses, the disappointments carry hidden lessons meant to guide you. Do you know what a detour is? It's most common when you're like driving a car and maybe there's a road blocked off and so you can't go that way, so you have to take a detour. You have to go a different way. So every detour in your life path or your life path, it holds meaning. So sometimes setbacks, they seem like, oh no, it's the end or whatever, or oh no, it's all going to crap. But sometimes like there are hidden lessons meant to guide you. Or, sorry, maybe you heard my chair making noise. Or maybe, I don't know. When I look back on my life, so many things that were crappy in the moment, I'm like, that kind of had to happen for this to happen and then this to happen. And maybe that's just the human brain trying to make sense of everything and trying to give meaning to everything and feel better about their life. Maybe. But I don't know. Sometimes it seems like pretty magical how my life unfolded, even if in the moment it seemed like chaos. 5. The treasure you seek is often inside you. Many journeys end where they began, but the traveler has transformed. Many journeys end where they began, but the traveler has transformed. So sometimes you might not achieve in the external world what you sought out to achieve, but you achieved something maybe even greater inside you, inside of yourself, in your development as a person. Reflective lesson. When you listen to your heart, you discover that the world is full of signs leading you where you're meant to go. I love that. Yeah. When you listen to your heart, you discover that the world is full of signs leading you where you're meant to go. Yeah, I feel like I've experienced this in my life. I feel like I have a lot. Number 18. The next book is called Man's Search for Meaning. Okay, here we go again. This is bringing us back to the first book called Sapiens that we talked about in this video, which is it's talking about how humans throughout history have always searched for meaning. We've always searched for meaning. This book is called Man's Search for Meaning. It's by Viktor Frankl. Frankl? Yeah, I don't know. One-line summary. A Holocaust survivor explains why meaning, not pleasure or power, is the core of human resilience. Key takeaways. People can endure unimaginable suffering when they believe their life has meaning. Purpose becomes a lifeline in the darkest situations. 2. Meaning is unique to each person. It comes from our relationships, our work, and the attitude we choose when we can't change our circumstances. 3. Between stimulus and response lies freedom. Even when everything is taken from you, you still have the power to choose your inner response. 4. Suffering without meaning crushes the spirit, but suffering with meaning becomes transformative, a test of character. 5. Life asks questions of you. Your responsibility is to answer them with courage, integrity, and love. Reflective lesson. You don't control what happens to you, but you always control who you become in response. I would read this book just because it's a Holocaust survivor and I'm curious about them talking about their experience and how they made sense of it. Yeah, this book interests me. It does. Because, I don't know. I feel like it depends on what kind of suffering and the degree to suffering, because if you're being straight up tortured, I don't know if you can really stop and think oh, but there's so much meaning in my life experience and this. There's a deeper meaning to all of this. I don't know. I think you're just unfortunate. You're just, I don't know. Maybe it's horrible karma, but I don't think so. I don't know, maybe, but I just think that sometimes people just get dealt a bad hand and it's they just have to suffer so much and it sucks. And I don't know. This brings us into a much larger discussion about the universe and life and fate and destiny and karma, and I don't even know. So many things we could talk about, but I always think about these genocides that we've had throughout history, or these times where basically just tons of innocent humans have been basically tortured or slaughtered or whatever, and it's just oh my God, how can you even how can you give meaning to that? How can you find your life has deeper meaning? If you survive it and then you write a book about it, that's great. But I think a lot of people who went through stuff like that maybe didn't survive, or survived but didn't feel a calling to do something about it. I don't know. But think about all the people that don't survive. Think about all the people that didn't survive the Holocaust. Do you think they felt like there was a great meaning to that? It's easy to say when you've survived it and you can write a book about it. Sorry, I'm not trying to insult this author, but I'm just saying I think it's a bit of a privilege to be oh, there's this great meaning to my suffering. Sometimes there is, but sometimes it's just humans. I don't know, sometimes it just feels like random being dealt a bad hand in being dealt a bad set of cards. Okay, next one. 19. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. Another one by Brené. This is a repeat author, so she's got a couple best-selling books here. One-line summary. You don't earn worthiness. You embrace it by letting go of who you think you should be. Key takeaways. 1. Shame blocks connection. When you hide your flaws, you also hide the parts of you that others could love most. 2. Authenticity is a daily practice. It means consistently choosing to show up as yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. 3. Perfectionism is self-protection, but it doesn't protect you from judgment. It traps you in your own impossible standards. 4. Joy requires vulnerability. You can't fully experience joy when you're bracing for disappointment. 5. Self-compassion is not self-indulgence. It's the indulgence. It's the foundation of emotional resilience and genuine confidence. Okay. I feel like I don't need to read this book. I feel like I already know all this stuff, and I already live this. I think I'm like I said before, I think I'm the queen of authenticity and self-love, self-compassion, and I generally don't feel shame for who I am. I think I'm awesome. I love myself. But some people really need to read a book like this. Reflective lesson. When you embrace your imperfections, you finally make space for your true self to breathe. All right, number 20. This is the last one we're going to do. So if you're still awake, if you're still out there paying attention, if you haven't fallen asleep after all this time, wow, I'm impressed. You're either listening to it when you're not tired during the day, or you are amazing. I don't know what it is. But we're going to do number 20 now. We're going to do the last book. I'm going to take a sip of my sugarcane juice. Don't judge me. I know it's 2:40 a.m. for me right now, but I need the glucose molecules to go into my brain cells right now, okay? So, just a minute. Oh, it's so good. Sugarcane juice with lemon or lime, I'm in Brazil. Caldo de cana com limão. Okay, sorry, back to English. Delicious. My God, it's like liquid gold. All right. Sorry if you don't like eating or drinking sounds. Sorry. Okay, so the last book summary is Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. I don't know how to say that. One-line summary. Nothing is original. Creativity comes from collecting ideas, transforming them, and making them your own. Key takeaways. 1. All art is inspired by something. Every creator builds on their influences. This isn't cheating. It's the nature of creativity. 2. Start before you're ready. Waiting for clarity kills momentum. Make things, even imperfect things, and let the process teach you. I'm starting to get tired. My reading is slacking. I'm sorry. Somebody said this in another book summary that we read. Start before you're ready. Yeah, don't wait to be ready. Just do it. Just do it. And let the process teach you. Yeah, because you will never really be ready for anything, because we learn how to do something and we master something by doing it. Like that is the nature of anything. That you master it through doing it. So just do it. 3, creativity thrives in I read that wrong. I'm getting tired. Creativity thrives in constraints. Limitations sharpen focus and push you to be resourceful in ways abundance never does. Okay, creativity thrives in constraints. Limitations sharpen focus and push you to be resourceful in ways abundance never does. Interesting. I felt the need to read that twice to really absorb that sentence, those 2 sentences. Okay. Number 4. Side projects matter. The playful, strange, just for fun ideas often become your most important work. Absolutely. 5. Be curious about everything. The more you explore, observe, and collect, the more material your creativity has to work with. Reflective lesson. Creativity isn't genius. It's curiosity, courage, and the willingness to begin. Nice. Beautiful. That was a great one to end us on. End the video on. Okay. All right. Ya girl is gonna go to bed. By the way, when I say ya girl, I'm not really saying that I am your girl, okay? Just to let you know, any men in the comments, I am not your girl. It's just something we say in English. Like, just in general, like to anybody. Like, it's a casual thing, but we just say like, to refer to ourselves, we say like your girl's tired or your boy is tired. Yeah, it's just a way of referring to ourselves. I don't know. It's just a silly little thing we like to say. The dog's barking again. All right. I hope you have enjoyed this peaceful, relaxing book summary that helped make you an English genius. Now you're going to master English. I recommend listening to this again and again, multiple times, multiple nights, regularly, to not only help you relax and fall asleep, but because the more you'll listen to it, the more you'll notice words and things that you didn't notice before, and also repetition helps things stick in your brain. And it's okay if it's boring because, well, that makes you fall asleep, and that's the whole point, isn't it? All right. Well, let me know in the comments what you use these videos for. Do you use them to fall asleep, like I expect a lot of people to? Do you listen to them when you're not going to sleep? You just like to listen to my sleepy time voice talking about anything? Yeah. Do you use it? Do you listen just to relax? Are some crazy people out there running on the treadmill and listening to my voice? I don't know. But for real, let me know in the comments. If you're still awake, let me know. Because I'm very curious what people use this kind of content for. Yeah. All right. Thank you for being here with me. I love you. I appreciate you. I wish you a beautiful night's sleep or beautiful day. And until next time, bye-bye.